Hello, it's Ryan Carruthers here, and today I wanted to do a video on how I find my deals because I'm getting a lot of emails from people asking me how I find my deals and how I appraise my deals. So I thought what would be pretty good is if I was to break down that into sort of two videos. I'll put them up on the blog, so if you want to watch them you can, or if you want to share them on Facebook, blah blah blah, you can. But the first one being how I find the deals. I thought it might be quite good to put it together in this sort of style, and then you'll be able to see exactly how I find them. It's all about relationships for me, how I find the deals, and I use sort of two main ways of which anyone can do, and I'm going to go into great detail today on those. But I thought it'd be good to start with a case study. So this is the case study. If you want more information on this, you can go to dealcasestudy.co.uk. That's www.dealcasestudy.co.uk, and you'll find out the warts and all on this deal. This deal actually won us the HMO Deal of the Year at the Property Investor Awards, and as you can see from the image, it's a pub which we paid £260,000 for. The refurb on that was £300,000. We got a valuation of £1.2 million, and that was on a commercial basis because it was of rent roll. So it was £115,000 per annum rent, which is made up of a 6-bed ensuite HMO, a 4-bed ensuite HMO, 4 1-bed flats, 1 studio, and a commercial unit, which is on a 10-year lease. That's all to students as well, apart from the commercial, which is to a company called Hotcher. So that's a case study just to get us started. So you can sort of build up the picture of that's the kind of thing that I'm looking for. So as you can see, that's what it looked like inside, and then we took it to a really high standard. We aim to be sort of the best student accommodation style provider we can be, and we just try to be pretty cool and pretty funky. So here is a spider diagram of how I find all of my deals. So as you can see in the middle, it says commercial to residential finding deals. And I'll go clockwise around and I will go through every single one of these points. So we'll start at the top, agents. A lot of people frown upon using agents, but I found that when you're into the sort of commercial elements, your land and your offices and pubs and stuff, commercial agents can be really, really savvy, and they understand what you're looking for. They understand that you can do things like, depending on where you are, exchange subject to planning. You can do options. They get all that. They see it all the time. So it is a lot easier when you're talking to them. So right at the top then, we've got some of the national agents. So you've got Lambert Smith Hampton, Knight Frank, Savills, Carter Jones and Strutton Parker. And then we drop down and we've got local as well. So you might have in your local area some of the national agents having offices there. So I suggest that you get in there, you go talk to those people and you build up those relationships. And then you might have some local agents as well. We've got a couple of local and a couple of the national ones, and I work with both of them. We've also got auctions, so you've got Edison's, Alsops, and again, your local ones. So it's really good to know about those ones and be signed up to those mailing lists. So if anything is in your area that is of interest and it comes up, you'll be able to look at it and move on that. And then you've got your online portals as well, where all of these people will advertise, so like your Rightmove, etc. Quite a few of my deals come through word of mouth. People that I know, I spend a lot of time building up relationships and working on deals now, so I get past a lot of deals all the time. Getting out is literally just, I hate being chained to my desk, so I get out there and I meet people, I walk around, I look for buildings that look like they're potentially closing down. So a pub that's closing down, I'll go into that area where it is, go into the car park, start taking some photos on Evernote, so that when I get back to the office, I've got loads of information to then build a potential deal. Architects, some of my best deals come through directly from architects. Why? Because not everybody has the same plan that you do. Some people might have a plot of land that they've got planning on to then sell. Some people's whole strategy is to do that. So an architect will know directly what the vendor is asking for, what they want, and also what's going on there. So it's really good to know architects to be able to build that relationship. In fact, today I've actually been past a deal and I've had the meeting from the architect. So that's pretty cool. You can also check planning portals, because your planning portals, they're going to publish when things get rejected, when things get approved. Again, it might be the fact that somebody's just trying to get a planning gain and then sell that deal on, which is definitely worth checking out. The next one is the Land Insight website, which links in with Land Registry for me. So you can land registry properties. If you've got the address, you can get the owner's details and then you can send them a letter. And the Land Insight website is the website I use, which I can measure sites, I can look at previous planning history, I can look at all that kind of thing. So it does help build up that picture. And then just to sort of finish off, the type of buildings I'm looking at are pubs, offices, light industrial, which falls under B1C, amusement arcades, blocks of flats, mixed-use sites, buildings with land, and now also land as well. So that sort of is an introduction on how I find my deals and what I'm looking for. I'm now going to go into sort of the two main ways in which I actually find those deals. So the agents is my first main port of call. So what do? I focus on agents in my area. So there's about 3 or 4 agents in my area and I have built up a rapport with those. So how have I done that? I've gone in, I've asked to speak to them, I've gone and invited them for coffee, I've found out about their lives, found out when their birthdays are, all that kind of thing. I've built the rapport with that agent. I've gone to do viewings and I've told them why I don't like it, and why I do like it, and I've tried to get on with them as best as I can, and I believe that is one of the skills that I possess, is I'm quite personable, so I get on with a lot of people, which really helps with the agents, and I'm also not an idiot when it comes to making an offer, and I structure those offers and I explain why I'm making my offer that way. So then we move on to contacting them. I keep regular contact with the agents, whether that's just dropping them an email every so often to see if they're free for a coffee. If not, drop them an email just to see what they're up to, if they've got anything, or giving them a phone call every so often. And just trying to keep that contact going. And then, like I say, educating them. So if I go to view a property and it doesn't work for whatever reason, I will then educate that agent on why I don't want that property. So the deal that I showed you, the Georgian Dragon deal, actually came through an agent. She rang me up and she said, Ryan, you've got to view this property. You're going to be viewing this property as one of the first people as well, because I know that this property is going to be absolutely perfect for you. And that came from focusing on the agents, building up the rapport, keeping in constant contact with them, and then educating them so they knew exactly what I was looking for. And then when a deal came in, we literally doubled our money because of that deal, and that came from the agent. The second way I do this, and I do use this a lot, this is the Land Registry way, and this is really funny because I presented this at John Corey's event. John Corey did an event in London and asked me to speak at it, which was absolutely fantastic. And he absolutely pulled me apart for using this letter because he said the grammar is horrendous. And I said, yes, but this letter is worth a lot of money and the responses I get from this letter are really high. So really straightforward. I will go to, say I'm walking around and I see a property and I think, oh, that one would work. I will jot it down, the address of the property. I'll start taking some photos. I'll go back to when I get back to the office, I'll open up the laptop and I'll go to the Land Insight website. I'll start measuring the building. I'll look if it's got planning permission, what it's got it for, what it's currently used as, if I don't know already. And I'll try and build up a bit of a picture around that, so that I really know what I'm looking at, and that I know that this will work for me. And then I go to the Land Registry. Well, actually, I do that now through Land Insight because you can get the title documents. So I get the title documents, it's got the owner's address on it, and then I will print this letter out and I will send them a letter with this exact letter. The only thing I change on it is I don't know if you would consider selling. That will probably be property you own on whatever street or land, depending on what it is. I've just noticed as well that it should be, I'm very sorry for my forward letter, but I'm a local property investor looking to buy in the Lincoln area. So this is definitely a letter in which I use all of the time, and I use it constantly. I'm about to go and post one after I've done this video. So it's really simple what I do, guys. I send out these letters and I build up relationships with agents. So the other methods as well that I do, just to go into a little bit more detail, are architects. So I constantly build up my network and talk to architects because they're doing these deals for other people, so they might know if somebody wants to sell it or if somebody's not interested. They'll know, and they'll be able to put you in touch with each other. So this morning we was introduced to two gentlemen who have got a scheme together to do a 9-bed student HMO in the centre of Lincoln, and the deal is going to be a JV deal. They've got the property, they're going to put that into a company, and then we're going to step in and do the development potentially if it works out. But that's a great conversation that an architect has now. They know me, they know I'm successful, they know I've got a proven track record, they want to work with me, they're happy to introduce me to their clients. Another one is the planning portal. So very similar to the architects, you can find out whether things have got rejected or accepted and contact those people. You never know what's going to happen by contacting these people, guys. So you might drop a letter to them asking if they're interested in selling the building they've just got planning on. They might say no, but then in 6 months down the line, they might get started into that project. They might run out of money. They might get fed up. They might hate that project now because things have started to go wrong, and then something else that they really want to do has come up. So you might be able to swoop in and get that project or do a deal. But even if not, if they're in the game, they're in the property game, and they don't want to sell you their deal, but they want to go for a coffee with you, then you go for a coffee and you might pick something up. They might be able to say to you, oh, well, I looked at this deal and it didn't work for me because it was too small or it was too big. And then they might give you the heads up on that. And if they're an experienced developer, that's a fantastic connection. Again, auctions are a great one to keep your eye out because they're going to sell. If they don't sell, then what I do is then I ring the auctioneer up and say, I'm interested in viewing that building again, and let's see if we can do a deal. The national agents, guys, get in with the national agents, as I've spoken about in this video. Word of mouth. It's surprising. This one takes the longest, but is one of the best when you get there. So word of mouth, you need to be out there. You need to be doing it. You need to be networking. You need to be talking to these people, building those relationships. And then even if you haven't got the money to be doing the deals, if you're finding the deals and say, for example, you haven't got money, but you want to get started in property and you think you want to get into development, that's great. But what are you going to do? So if you go to the planning portal and you find somebody who's got a planning gain deal, and then you can do an option on that, then you can sell that to an investor. Or you might have met two investors. One's got a planning deal that they want to sell, and then another one is an active developer who you didn't know. And then you can introduce those people and then get in on the action there, learn about the process, maybe get paid a fee for doing that. And that all comes from your word of mouth and you getting out there, guys. When I say getting out, I don't like to be in the office. So if I've got calls to do, what I'll do is I'll take the calls out on the street because we can do business from our phone. If I know someone's ringing me at say 3:00, I'll go out and I'll go out of my way to walk around the streets, places that I haven't been in a while maybe. And I'm looking, the pub's closing down. What's above the shops that are currently there? Is there a garage there? Is there a set of garages? Is there some land that looks underutilised? All those kind of things I'm looking for. And then the last one, guys, is sources, because you're not going to be the only person looking for these deals. There is going to be other people looking for them. So if you work with sources, then you'll be able to do a deal there, and they're going to have some really good deals potentially, and you can do loads and loads of creative things with them. You can bring them into the deal, you can pay them a fee, you can pay them a percentage of the profit. There's loads and loads of different things you can do with a sourcer, but just remember that every good sourcer will not be around for that long, because they are that good that they are going to go find people who will invest in their own deals, or they're going to have made enough to go and find some money for their own deals, and then they're going to keep those deals. So that's it, guys. That's the way that I find my deals. Hopefully you found that really entertaining and quite educational. If you do have any questions, then drop them in the comments below, or if you've watched this through my Facebook page, drop them in the comments below as well. If you want to send me an email, you can. It's ryan@venturepropertylincoln.co.uk. Very long email address. If you want to find out about the Georgian Dragon, the whole process in which we went through, then go to www.dealcasestudy.co.uk and give me your email, and then I'll send that report right out to you. So I will come back and do a analysing of deals video, and I'll talk about my yields and all that kind of stuff. But that's it for today, and hopefully I will hear from you soon.